Time being 6:30, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the traditional territory acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty, and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and Métis people. Administration advises that there are no additions to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make any amendments? Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councilor Brand, Councilor Ely, all in favor? Motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Seeing none. Next item on the agenda is the closed session portion of the meeting. May I have the mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councilor Smith, Councilor Eby, all in favor? Motion's carried at 6:31. Okay, rising from closed session, council approved the closed session minutes from the February 18th, 2025 meeting. Also, council discussed matters relating to the municipal code of conduct and shared services in closed session. Okay, open session minutes of the last regular meeting, February 18th, are at items 5.1 on the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? May I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the minutes at items 5.1? Councilor Muir, Councilor Eby, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we have no resolutions from other municipalities. Items 6.2, information purposes regarding the minutes from the Thunder Bay District Health Unit meeting January 15th. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Okay, seeing none. Next item 6.3, information purposes regarding the open and closed session minutes from the Thunder Bay DSAB meeting on January 16th. Do any members of council have any questions? Item 6.4 is information purposes regarding the Thunder Bay District Municipal League Conference agenda and annual general meeting. Do any members of council have any remarks? Seeing none, that is this week, this Thursday, Friday. Mark and I will be attending. Item 6.5, information purposes regarding the minutes from the Thunder Bay District Municipal League meeting on October 5th. Do any members of council have any remarks? Seeing none. 6.6, information purposes regarding the update from the Thunder Bay DSAB. Do any members of council have any remarks? No, seeing none. Item 6.7, information purposes regarding the minutes from the Nipigon OPP Detachment Board meeting on January 30th. Do any members of council have any questions? First meeting? No. Next item 6.8 is thank you letter from the Red Rock Fish and Game Club. Do any members of council have any remarks? So I did attend that event. So I guess I was glad to be there because I made a few phone calls. Mark approved the opening of the Marina Center. So staff who was working at the rec center was able to go and open it up. So us ladies could use the facilities. And I believe the washrooms are all ready to go for their next event. So it all worked out. Okay, next item 8.1 is a report on administrative activities. Okay. Do we have an update on the direction discussion section?
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll start with the, last week, we spent a lot of time on budget for 2025, so we will be bringing, kind of a schedule to council shortly. We're hoping to complete that, not this week, because this week is busy, and then with Thunder Bay District Municipal League coming up, but, we should be able to bring some tentative schedules and dates to council by next meeting. So, we're working hard on that. And if we go to direction, discussion, and updates, as Mayor Robinson stated, Thunder Bay District Municipal League is happening Thursday and Friday this week. Some of the others are just updates, but if you keep going down, I guess an update on the provincial election that happened on the 27th. Really not much of an update. We really haven't changed much here in Thunder Bay Superior North, as well as in the provincial government. It's a conservative majority government, and we're still represented by NDP member Lise Bourgeois. So much of a change in our area or the province. I'll go down to delegation. We'll come back up to Recreation Center, but I'll go to the delegation meeting. So we do have a meeting, a discussion that was planned through Thunder Bay District Municipal League. So the mayor and I will get a chance to sit with the chief of EMS at Friday morning. We're allotted, I believe, 20 minutes. So we'll have some questions and hopefully be able to get some answers based on some of our concerns in Red Rock, or suggestions that we can make. So I believe we're scheduled to sit with Shane at 11:40 on Friday. I guess if we wanted to highlight again, coming back with a budget meeting and maybe tying it into an infrastructure meeting. So projects, we had that discussion with council last meeting based on a direction of council. So again, by next meeting, hopefully we have some dates that we maybe will schedule a session where we can go through budget, or have those that education session based on budgeting and budget 2025, as well as kind of that direction from council based on infrastructure and projects. So again, we'll be bringing that to council hopefully next meeting. Main water leaks, valve leaks. I just wanted to give council and the community an update on what has been happening in Red Rock and some infrastructure issues. Mostly, I guess, weather related would be the best way to put them. We've had a main water break. I guess it was last Friday that put the community into a BWA. Everything went as great as it possibly could have went in that break. Our staff, our public works crew, did a fantastic job. They worked tirelessly, and it, I believe, started about 4 o'clock in the morning. We started getting the first calls, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, and it was a major leak. It ended up being a hole in a pipe on that one, which then led, once repaired, it led to some valve leaks on Rankin. That one is still leaking as we were exercising the valves to try to isolate the community. There was some issues with the valves. So again, we've got that one scheduled to be repaired as early as this week. I believe it'll be repaired on Rankin. We also took White Boulevard last week and repaired that leak as well. That ended up being a main leak as well. Unfortunately, aging infrastructure and in a winter that isn't friendly. You can just listen to the news, whether it's in the CFNO listening area or the broadened into the city of Thunder Bay. You see it's happening everywhere. Again, the public works crew did a fantastic job, and collectively with Aqua as well. And we were able to have the BWA, or the boil water advisory, lifted within I guess really one business day. It was lifted Monday morning by 10 a.m. So again, great crew, great work by Aqua and our crew, and unfortunately, we may not be out of the woods yet because as the weather warms up, we know the frost goes down. So, but again, we'll keep going and try to do the best we can with that situation. And the recreation center, I know there was some discussion on the recreation center. I know on ice, for example, the ice is well, tentatively. I mean, it's council's decision, but our plan at the beginning of the season was to remove the ice on the 15th. We can certainly extend that. I mean, there is cost. It's really hard to measure our cost in our building. It really is because it's such a multi-used facility. But generally speaking, the longer you run the plant, it will cost you a bit more money. But what I also wanted to bring to council for a discussion this evening is not necessarily the ice, but again, we can tie that in, was more of a thought as we were budgeting. We were thinking, as we spent so much money in the facility and we continue to upgrade the facility, that and as we've put ourselves into a position where we're coming out of a lot of major projects, we're looking at funds that are or funding and financials that are a lot more stable than they were in the past, trying to juggle a lot of the projects. What I'd like to do and take a collective stab at as a staff is trying to keep the building open a little bit longer this year, just even into the gymnasium, into the the bowling alley, all the facilities there. What I was hoping to have a look at with council, and we're tentatively ready to build that into our budget as well and see where it looks. But even if we took a couple of month trial and said, okay, well, if we take the ice out on the 15th, we're still got staff there till the 31st, roughly, right? Taking the ice out. And that if we leave the ice in, which ties into this conversation now, we could easily then say, okay, we're going to try to keep this running until May. A lot of the community has spoken. I talked to a lot of members of the community that, they'd like to play pickleball longer. They'd like to bowl longer. I mean, it will mean additional staffing hours, but I think it's worth a try. I think again, we just invested, millions of dollars into the facility. We have an operating restaurant in that facility. We have an operating restaurant here. It ties our staff into needing to be in two buildings at once. We've also recently tied our existing staff into the cleaning in our facility and the library. So it enables us to tie in the whole staffing complement to those buildings. So what I'd like to try is at least a couple of months and maybe extend it from there. And then listen to council. If the ice is the will of council to keep in till the end of March, then we certainly can do that as well.
I agree with a lot that Mr. Piccolomini has said. We've put this money in, and I think it would be a good idea to keep it open as long as possible. One of the things I was wondering is once I agree with keeping the ice in also. Once the ice is out, could the kids still use that surface for ball hockey and that kind of stuff? Can we still let them go in there and use that, or would they go up to the gym?
Well, that's the plan. That's what we want to look at for sure. We want to look at using the facility. If it's the ice surface for ball hockey or for something, then we're all for that. We want to try to promote use for not just the youth, but also the adults who play pickleball, etc. So certainly we can look at all options of use. I mean, like I said, the gymnasium, the bowling alley, the ice surface itself. So really try to take a different approach, but one that I think is definitely worth a try, and we'll bring council back an update on that in a couple of months.
Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I think if the ice is until the 31st, and then the surface gets a good cleaning, you could probably get, like, kids would probably take their rollerblades and stuff down in there, and I think roller skates. I think Counselor Smith had mentioned before, roller skating. So something like that would definitely work.
And Councillor, Lee.
It's enthusiastically received, that suggestion, because it's so much more than just the activities. The amount of the connections that are happening there and the positive interactions are just so heartwarming. So the more we can extend that, I'm all for it.
Be nice to have the seniors.
Well, there's
seniors,
another one, the seniors room
right.
too, right? The Golden Club room, we've fixed that up. So, well, and we may alter the hours, right? We may look at hours that, but we'll look at all that starting tomorrow. Once we have that direction, we'll look at hours of use. One of the complaints, or the, not complaints, I guess, but concerns from the seniors was sometimes the hours and getting in earlier. So we'll look at all options, and we'll give it a try and see where it goes.
Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I kind of mirror everything that everybody said here. And I think, now that we have a restaurant in there again, I think it's, and a new bowling alley and all that extra work that's gone in there, it's very important to try to keep it open as long as we can. People have a place to eat and go bowl or go do whatever in the gym. It's just, I think it's a really good thing to promote that activity.
Great. I think it's a go with that.
So it sounds like every council's all on board for that. I guess, just so we know, then the ice is, we're good with extending the ice too then, so we can, okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll certainly get that out tomorrow for sure.
Councillor Brand.
I'm not sure if this would tie in with recreation, but I'm just wondering about the rock wall. Will that tie into this, or can we put that on the agenda for next?
No, so that's the plan. What we'll work on the bouldering wall as well at this time. So that'll be another addition to the facility. We were going to wait till the building was idled, but if we extend it, we'll get on that right away and look at the at once the ice. Maybe we'll tie it with the ice, just because it does tie staff down a lot more with when the ice is there as opposed to not. But what we will see when the ice comes out is we'll see, for example, this building opening as well, right? So we'll as well as then filtering into other facilities. So we'll be able to distribute staff. But certainly the bouldering wall is still part of the of the overall plan. Yes.
Any other questions on Mark's report? I do have a couple. Just in regards to the EMS one, we did submit questions, so he should be prepared for that. A lot of it was related to our quad council, since we didn't get any responses back from that. So we are there representing Red Rock, but also Nipigon and Doreen. When it comes to the water leak and notification, so I know we discussed this. We have the program Code Red, right? That's what it's called. And we subscribe to that. So not a lot of people are really registered for it. Do you think that there's value to that? I mean, I appreciate it. I got the phone calls and I got an email of when the water notification and then when it was lifted. So I think if we're, so keep talking here, but if we continue with it, maybe we can promote it some more. Because I think it was fantastic that it could reach people that quickly.
Yeah, Code Red is effective in ways. So what we're doing is, so our current Code Red subscription, it's a 3-year contract, and we pay about $2,000 a year for it. The issue with it is we really don't have a lot of control over it, over, say, knowing who's registered, et cetera, those kind of things. So what we are looking at is the effectiveness of not just Code Red, but you will see a lot happening in the municipality of Greenstone just launched their own app just this past week as well. I was reached out to the CAO there today. So we want to look at at a variation of Code Red, based on some of the new technology that's out there for your own app. So there's a lot of apps, or there's certain apps out there now as we're looking, and certainly we have somebody a little more valued in technology looking at it than I am. But what we find is you could simply have an app that has emergency call out, for example, similar to Code Red, but it can also let you know that, the evening before your garbage day, for example, or when your tax bills are due, or when your water bill is due. So our current Code Red expires July of this year, and we'd have to sign into like I said, a 3-year contract. But we want to look at not just Code Red, but maybe an alternative plan to Code Red that might serve us better. So currently right now, for example, it's not app-based. So when we send out a Code Red, we really don't have the list of where it's going, for example, right? So we could put out a detailed request to join Code Red, but if we had it kind of app-based to us, where we control that, we'd have better ability to sign people up, for example, and to take that approach. So I think the effectiveness of Code Red, or an equivalent to Code Red, so I think we're working internally on that now, and we'll be able to bring something back to council, knowing that Code Red is about $2,000 a year. So that's kind of the base we're working off. But
Thank you. Councillor Brand?
So the app that you said Greenstone just got, does theirs do the same thing, like tell you the Code Red, tell you garbage day? Is that, like, do you know what? all
I
their
believe so.
functions are?
I mean, we were looking at many different variations. I haven't had a chance to speak in depth with Mark in Greenstone about it yet. But for example, you might have four different kind of areas within your app. So one might be services, which again is your garbage collection, for example. One might be financial. It's when your tax bills come out. So that's what we're kind of hoping for. There's also ways it almost becomes, some of the apps, they almost become your newsletter in a nutshell, right? There's so much. So whereas Code Red is emergency based, right? So which really works well. I mean, you can tailor it to a boil water, for example, that. So I think collectively we're going to look at Code Red or a variation of Code Red and bring that back to council.
Great, thanks. I think that's a great idea too. No other questions or comments? You can have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the report. Councillor Smith. Councillor Brand. All in favor? Motion's carried. The item 8.2 is a report on the sale of the Red Rock Fire Department van. Do any members of council have any questions? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the sale of the Red Rock Fire Department van to Jordan's Roadside Service in the amount of $3,500 plus HST? Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next item is a report to declare 3 bouncy castles from the Recreation Department as surplus and sell for the highest bid received. Do any members of council have any remarks or any questions? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to declare the bouncy castles from the Recreation Department as surplus, and further to approve the sale of 3 bouncy castles to Andrew Brown in the amount of $800, including HST? Councillor Muir, Councillor Smith, all in favor? Motion is carried. Oh, gonna be fun. Item 8.4 is a report on an updated investment policy from the Township of Red Rock. Do any members of council have any questions? Councillor Brand?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I appreciate having the old the one attached, so we could look at that. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
And I might say that it's an old policy.
Yeah, 97 maybe, was that right? Yeah.
No questions on the policy? Okay. Is there a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the updated investment policy for the Township of Red Rock? Councillor Muir, Councillor Smith. All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, next item on the agenda under unfinished business are related to the waterfront, the Nipigon Joint Council. Do we have any updates on it? Councillor Muir?
I just did have a question on the waterfront bylaw because we're maybe looking at trying to get a couple bands down at the waterfront this, in the pavilion there.
Yep.
So that waterfront bylaw would be nice. I'm gonna have a glass of wine and listen to some music out there on a Sunday night or something for the summer. Just wondering if there any progress on that.
Yes, I do. Actually, I have an update for council on that this evening. So we did look at this extensively. We looked at it through legal. The short answer is you can create a bylaw. There is the ability to create a bylaw. It will come with costs as well as some level of risk. Especially anytime alcohol is involved. The direction, or I guess the legal opinion, is that the cost along with the risk makes it a tough decision for council. And when you look at it, some of the major reasons are staffing. Really, you would need additional, or it would be very beneficial to have staffing, especially around bylaw, which I mean, again, that comes into staffing, right? Which we don't have. So it'd be a significant factor. So the recommendation from administration is that it would be a very risky and could be a costly, but in saying that, it's not that you couldn't isolate an event and have it, as well as I do believe that the local establishment is potentially looking at liquor license as well. So for a municipality, there is some examples of municipalities that have piloted it. One is the city of Toronto, which obviously has the staff. There's another one in the town of Pelham, but again, these are communities of 15,000 people roughly, right? So I think the risk, along with the potential cost of it kind of outdoes our need or our want, but not that we couldn't isolate it for an event similar to what they do with, for example, Live from the Rock or a local establishment that takes it, and has a patio built onto our facility, something like that. So,
Councillor Muir?
Yeah, thanks for looking into that. When I was, that's exactly where I got the information, was City of Toronto. They had the parks designated it. But yeah, thanks for looking into it. But respectfully, I think I'll pull that off the unfinished business. Yeah, it doesn't seem feasible. Recommendation doesn't make sense for a small municipality. It's probably gonna be tough. So thanks for looking into that. But yeah, we can pull that off and put that to bed and go from there. Can be a dry event when you have a band down there.
No, you never know. That might be something that the fishing game club
Yeah.
might be open to. So
Oh, yeah,
but
I'm just talking about if the band just shows up and then, so this way it's fine. It's good. There's no band just showing up down there. There might.
Okay, any other comments on that? Okay, seeing none. Okay, next item is the bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to pass the bylaw? Councillor Smith? Councillor Muir? All in favor? Motion is carried. I see now. Okay, next council meeting will be Monday, March 17th, the time being 7:29. There's no further business to attend to. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.